Okay, everybody, welcome to the fucking Drowning in Horseshoes Horsecast, where, I'm here with Digibrony, my good friend, that guy, and we're gonna maybe talk about colorful little horses, but more than likely we're gonna talk about grown-up shit, like eating pussy and going bowling and cooking our own hamburgers out on the grill.
I wish I could cook my own hamburgers. I suck at that shit. Yeah, it's been a little while since we did one of these, right? Couple months, probably.
Yeah, a couple
In the
months.
time, in the time since the last Drowning in Footwear and Digibrony podcast, you have become a noteworthy My Little Pony reviewer. So, yay! How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I sort of knew
Yeah.
it would be. Um, yeah, it was just one of those things where, for so long it was like, if I just picked a gimmick, I could get somewhere decent within like a fucking day. But not wanting to do it because it was my old channel and I want it to be all my shit. But it just got to a point where enough's enough. It's time to fucking sell out and fucking just do the pony shit for a while and see where it takes me. So I started the pony channel and I decided I was gonna review episodes every week, like everyone else does. And at first I thought I would do it your way with the little OC in the corner and everything, because I thought that would be better for copyright or whatever. And plus people are used to it.
Uh-huh.
But after a while I just figured I'm fucking sick of animating this little fucking thing and I'd rather be unique anyway. So I just put my big ol' ugly beautiful face all over the screen.
Great. But I do like your videos a lot. I love the point you make in Power Ponies where you're just like, you know, there is no episode of My Little Pony I hate. They're just all good. They're all fun. But it was a good point because I've said a number of times on my channel that there's no episode that I really hate. I was like, the worst episodes of My Little Pony are like meh. They're like that 5 out of 10 level, for whatever scoring charts people have. Like something like Ghostbusters, which pisses me off because I take, I'm this guy who sits there and analyzes the show down to a T and have to go, yeah, this episode sucks. But even Ghostbusters, it's not like it fucking killed my family. It's fine. I'll watch it. I'm not gonna bitch about it. Like, if someone puts it on, I'll be like, oh, hey, it's that one episode that's not the best in the show, but whatever. It's My Little Pony. It's on
Yeah, I
TV.
think I
Yeah.
think the only episodes that I really like vehemently don't like are the ones that are just not memorable, like Owl's Well, that ends well.
Yeah.
I can't fucking it's just fucking like I remember like Sure Klopp did a parody of it. And for a second, I was watching the parody for a second, thinking, did they animate like a new thing? Because I didn't even remember the episode.
Of Owl's Well That Ends Well? When did they ever
Yeah,
use that?
it was like a short video where they were like watching the stars or some shit. I think that's
Oh
that
yeah.
episode.
Um yeah, that is actually Owl's Well That Ends Well. Yeah. The one with
Yeah, because I
where
was
she's the
watching that and
Princess
I
of the
didn't
Moon. Yeah.
recognize the animation at all. Because that episode
That's
is so
pretty funny.
fucking nothing.
The funny thing is, going back and watching that episode, I actually thought it was pretty okay. Like it didn't bother me, and it kind of gets reused. I think like part of why Power Ponies didn't bother people is because no one remembers that episode. Like I was the only person who was like, "Hey guys, this is the same lesson from Owl's Well That Ends Well," and no one else pointed that out. They're quick to do that. Fans will very readily say, like, in the new episode, everyone's like, "Oh, didn't they just do that in Storm of the Century where she tries to shoot all the Parasprites and they start eating the town?" Because that was a memorable scene, so everyone's like, "Hey, crying foul." But Power Ponies is the exact same lesson as Owl's Well That Ends Well, but no one remembers.
Yeah. It just, if no one remembers, you might as well just do a do over.
Right, except it still doesn't make any fucking sense because it's like Spike's like, I never do anything. I'm so useless. And it's like you saved the Crystal Empire in the start of season 3, and you got your own thing in Canterlot. The whole stained glass window and everything that basically means you're a hero. You've accomplished something, and yet he
Ah,
still feels like he doesn't accomplish anything. I didn't understand.
poor Spike. He's just there to be a slave.
Yeah.
I mean, he went off in that episode to hang out with dragons, and they went after him. We don't want you to grow up and achieve your potential and be a real dragon. We want you to be our slave for all eternity
Yeah.
until we all die of old age and leave you as this like half a man, half a dragon. Doesn't know how to fit in. Probably starved to death in a cave somewhere. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
The sad fact of the matter is, I don't give a shit about Spike, and it's impossible to because he's different in every episode, and having an episode that tries to develop him as a character is fucking pointless because he's completely just whatever he needs to be. Sometimes he's really smart. Sometimes he's like this
Well, yeah,
deadpan
because
snarker.
I don't know.
And sometimes he's a fucking idiot, you know?
It's partly because he's the child character, and the child character of the group in any show is always a fucking piece of shit that no one knows how to not make annoying.
Right.
And I think it also has to do with him being the only male main character in a show with a feminist mission statement.
Yeah.
And fucking not even a feminist. It's fucking Pony. It's My Little Pony. It's gonna be a girls' show, no matter what you try to say.
Right.
Despite the horrific tragedy of bronies and what became of it. At the end of the day, it's still a girls' show, so the male character is gonna get marginalized.
Yeah.
And kind of made to be a big fucking pussy.
I'm thinking about dragging my girlfriend in here. Up for that?
Woo!
Let's
Do
drag
it.
her in here. Let's make this not a sausage fest. Anyway. Ignoring the fact that she's not picking up right now. Jesse!
Jesus, take forever.
More topics. Yay.
How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's? How was all that? I don't know. Stuff happens in real life besides cartoons.
It was all good. It was all a drunken blur of awesomeness, pretty much. I enjoyed everything. Yeah, but I don't want to get too into that stuff because I already talk about that kind of stuff on the pub crawl. But what about you, Jesse? How was your life
Let me
been?
tell you. First there was Christmas. My sister got me a lovely, horrible brony shirt. Not just a brony shirt, but the brony shirt. The one with it says brony in big letters.
Oh, I have one. Don't get me wrong.
And it was sort of like, hey, big brother, I know that you're one of those freaks and you're really into this show. So here, I got this for you because you like that. And I'm like, yeah, I do like that. Yeah. And inside I'm like, oh, man. Well, but you know, I don't fucking give a shit. It's a gift. I'll wear it. I'll fucking rock the hell out of it. I'm a sexy dude. I could pull off anything.
Yeah.
I could wear fucking 5 fedoras on top of each other and still look sexy. And still be the most alpha dude in the room. Speaking of which, at the New Year's Eve party, I ruined a man's life. It was an accident, but I broke a man. One of my good
I need to know. I need to know this story.
Oh man. So I'm at my New Year's Eve party. Not my party, fucking friend's house. Everybody's there. And New Year's Eve's my favorite holiday by far, because it's the best. New Year's Eve is basically just a celebration of just celebrations in general. There's no fucking bullshit religious sentiment behind it. There's no fucking made-for-TV movies about some fucking corny schmaltzy message. New Year's is just a fucking holiday about friendship, basically.
And drinking.
And drinking, which is more important than friendship by far.
Drinking is magic.
But I'm hanging out on New Year's, and everybody's there, and one of my friends there, fuck it, I'll say his name, my friend Jeff. I was gonna think of a fake name, but I couldn't, because I'm fucking retarded, doesn't matter. But, my friend Jeff, he's not one of my closest super inner circle of friends, but he's pretty close of a friend, I think. Legitimately one of the coolest guys I know. Total alpha male type. Like, I mean, like, really into all that game stuff, and, like, basically a pickup artist, sleeps with millions of women all the time. He's one of those guys, which I think is pretty fucking faggoty, but also pretty cool, you know?
I know exactly what you mean, but
yeah,
the phrasing is magnificent.
But, yeah, so he's, like, a real alpha male type guy, but of course I'm the coolest motherfucker in the room everywhere I go. So he comes up to me at the party, and by the time I get there, he's already pretty hammered, and he's like, and he's got me in the corner, and he's saying all this shit. Oh man, Jesse, You are the coolest fucking guy. You're the best rapper in the world. You make fucking videos. I mean, I try to make videos, and I never have the ambition, but you're actually fucking doing it, and you're making videos, and you're fucking E-famous and all that shit. Like, totally sucking my dick. So I'm like, no, man, no. You're the coolest motherfucker. You go to bars and pick up girls, and you work out, and you've got big muscles. And he's like, no, you're the coolest motherfucker, because blue, 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 blue. And we're just sucking each other's dicks for a while, and it's all great. But he's a little bit more hammered than me. And and he starts, man, Jesse, I gotta tell you, I'm not even kidding. You're like my hero, dude. I want to be just like you. I want you to teach me your ways. And I'm like, well, golly, that's pretty flattering, Jeff. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to teach you my ways. It's just just be cool, I guess. And he's like, no, I wanna. And then he's like, I want to hang out with you, and I want you to help me be cool like you, and then I'll help you. And then I'm like, what you talk about, motherfucker? Because, first of all, the thing about me, my fucking ego and my pride is so out of control that as soon as someone even insinuates that I might need help with anything, I start feeling like they're kind of treating me like a sidekick a little bit.
Right.
And that's sort of what happened. He didn't mean to, but I was drunk by that point, and I'm a fucking asshole, and I turn into an evil man when I drink.
Mm-hmm.
But he was telling, man, I wanna teach you how to get with chicks. Take you to bars and teach you how to pick up chicks. And of course, in my mind, because the way I am, I'm thinking, now wait just a minute, motherfucker. Who said I can't fuck any girl? I fucked everything that ever walked or crawled on this earth. So, at this point, I'm fucking pissed, because he's not. He's just trying to be, like, cool and be nice and be my friend, and he's obviously in love with me and all that cool stuff. But to me, the way I'm reading it is, because I'm a fucking drunk asshole, to me it sounds like he's saying, oh, you fucking kissless eternal virgin over there, you need my fucking advice. Let me teach you my ways. And I don't fucking need that. And he's like, how many fucking girls have you been with, man? And I'm like, I'm not a fucking pickup artist by any means, but I'm not a fucking nerd. I've had a few serious relationships and a few fat girls that I like to forget about, but mostly a few serious relationships that I'm still friends with, that I still talk to. I'm not a fucking nerd is what I'm saying, but I am a fucking raging psychopath. I am a fucking asshole who doesn't like to be marginalized. So it just pissed me off. And he's, let me tell you, man, I've been with over fucking 40 girls. And I'm like, well, that's fucking good for you, man, but at what cost? Because, that fucking pickup artist shit, they like to call it game, like they're the masters of the game, but really they're a slave to it, because you're still just fucking creating a false image of yourself to go out there and hunt for sluts and impress chicks who you're better than. I think the whole fucking thing's retarded, but I still think it's cool in its own way. I mean, I've told you before, like, I respect the hell out of guys who work out and take care of themselves.
Right.
And are actually cool and not fucking neckbeards. So, like I'm saying, this is one of the coolest guys I know. He's totally my friend. Don't hate him. Not mad at him. But he's pissing me off at this particular time, at this particular moment.
He's
So I
fucked
start...
like 40 girls? That's gross.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, by the way,
the man's boat.
Cookie Cutter is in the call now, so say hello.
Yeah, I was just telling the story of how I ruined my friend's life, because I'm the worst man who ever lived, and I'm evil. All I do is hurt people.
I don't understand how he doesn't have a disease.
Well, I don't know. You don't ask a man that. That's his personal, private business.
40-some girls? Like, that's a lot.
That's, I mean, for people who are like the game people,
it's not
kind of normal.
I think it's pretty understandable for his type of lifestyle. I mean, he works out all day and he goes to the fucking bar and he picks up a girls.
Right.
Oh, so he's not dating them, he's just fucking them.
No. He's a club guy. He's like the kind of guy who goes out to the club every weekend to try to get laid.
Why can't he just pick one and just have sex with that one for a couple weeks?
Because that's not how the game is.
Because most women are fucking disgusting whores who don't deserve a good man.
Well then,
Yeah, exactly. So on with my story.
we know how Jesse's relationships lie and how he feels about them.
Hey, I'm still friends with every ex I ever had, and that's the truth.
And that's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, he said most, not all. Not that I think he's correct. I'm just saying that there's clearly some women he thinks are worthy of him.
Bitches and hoes.
Oh yeah, you gotta have standards as a man. I mean, most men get so desperate. You know, why are women allowed to be picky but not men? Fuck that.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know this guy, and I'm not saying this guy's a dildo or anything like some fucking regular club guy. He's not. He's one of the coolest dudes I know. He's like a super nerd. He loves Dragon Ball Z. The whole reason he works out is because he wants to be like Goku.
Oh God, is it secretly fucking Jax Blade?
Yeah, he is actually a lot like Jax Blade. That's who that reminds me of.
That's cool.
That's why I like Jax Blade's videos. Yeah, I think that's
Jock.
I think that's cool. I like guys like that. I love jocks. I love guys who will be like, oh man, I fucking love comic book superheroes, but that's not fucking enough. I'm gonna be a comic book superhero and I'm gonna work out. I think it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just telling me, you know, trying to help me in his own way, but just being kind of a douche about it, acting like I'm some nerd. And I'm just thinking, listen here, motherfucker, I've been with the hottest fucking pussy you ever seen. You know, doing my own special brand of alpha male shit.
And so what did you say to him? Because you've been building up for a while here.
Oh, I just fucking went off and I just fucking made fun of him like no other. And I just did my fucking insult comic heckler shit. And not even trying to hurt his feelings. But I did hurt his feelings. Because he said before I was his hero, you know? And I don't know, I guess when you see a guy who puts on that alpha persona, you don't really expect them to be so sensitive.
Yeah.
But I guess you should see it coming, because that's why they put on that persona.
Right.
You know? I mean, there's definitely an insecurity there. So I'm fucking going off on him, and he's getting mad. But like, kind of laughing mad, it seems like, so I can't fucking tell if I'm going too far or not.
Right.
And he starts pushing me and saying he wants to fight me, and I'm just standing there calling him a fucking faggot and all this shit. And then he starts crying. And, and I'm just like, oh my God, what have I done? and he's like crying, and he's like, no man, fuck you. You're my hero, and I love you, and I want to be just like you, and you're... And it turns out you're a dick, and it's like, whoa, what have I done?
I mean, you were both pretty drunk, though, right?
Yeah, and then so he went off, and he was fucking crying, and he wasn't there when the ball dropped, and I didn't see him for the rest of the night.
Damn.
He wouldn't talk to me, and so I go home, and now it's yesterday, which is, so I guess January the 1st. And for the last couple of days, I've just been thinking about it and just feeling like such a shithead. Because, I don't know. I mean, I'll say horrible shit to women all day and revel in it, because fuck them. But when you hurt your bro's feelings...
Wow.
That's just too far. So I'm just
one question.
What?
Isn't all pussy hot because it's like 90-some degrees? It's like body temperature.
What?
You were saying something about hot pussy.
You said you get the hottest pussy around, and I'm pretty sure all of it's pretty the same temperature.
Yeah, but some of it's covered in blue cheese and mold and fucking curly hairs like a goddamn rabbi.
Wow, that's...
This is true, though. I've seen footage.
You're around.
Digi, your girlfriend loves me so much, I can just tell it in her voice.
Oh no, she's a fan. She watches your videos. She doesn't always understand your brand of humor, though. Namely when you make a bunch of weird wrestling references.
That's my favorite part of my humor. But there was a point to this story and a moral to it, but I can't really remember it. But anyways...
I think the moral is that no one should ever trust Jesse Wood to be a good person.
No, I am a good person, because I'm telling you that I felt really bad about it and crummy about it all day, because I felt like I really ruined this guy's fucking life. I mean, it's not every day that a cool dude like that says that you're his hero. you know. So
And
I finally, after 2 days, worked up the courage to text him. And I'm like, "Hey man, you want to hang out?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry I was being a dick at the party last night. I was being a mondo douche, brother. Sorry about that." And it took him maybe 10 minutes to respond. And I've asked out a lot of girls in my life, but rarely have I ever been so fearful of being rejected than when apologizing to a genuine bro. Because the bonds of friendship and brotherhood go so much deeper. They're so much more cast iron than the average relationship with some girl.
you know
Hmm.
what I just realized listening to
But
this conversation?
What?
I need to dick to understand this.
Yeah. Well,
Or friends.
not necessarily.
well, it's just because you're a woman, so you have no concept of brotherly love and honor, so you can't really sympathize with a real friendship between two equals.
I don't know. I think I'm closer friends with Cookie than I am with any of my other dude friends right now.
Oh yeah, because she's your main squeeze, dude. Gotta if you're not, if you don't put your spouse first, then you're gonna have a bad time, whether you're male or female.
Yeah.
I think my two best friends right now is Digi and my cat.
Chi.
Yeah.
She's a very affectionate friend.
But anyways,
Vita's
my
a very
point is,
affectionate friend too.
Yeah, this is true.
eventually he did text back, and turns out, I apologized and all this shit, and I was feeling crummy for 2 days. He didn't even fucking remember what the hell I was talking about.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of drama like that happened between most of my bros over the course of the last month or so. Like it was almost epic levels of bro drama, mostly revolving around a friend of mine named Derek, who recently he was kicked out of the Marines, and
Oh
so
man,
he's been
bro drama's
around.
the worst.
Huh?
Bro drama's the worst. You don't want to be mad at your bros. It's the worst feeling.
Right. Well, my friend Derek got out of the Marines, and the thing is, he's really paranoid and really about the way others perceive him, especially his friends. Like, he can't stand. He's like constantly worried about whether people like him or not, you know. But he at the same time has no ability to perceive the feelings of other people whatsoever. Like, I've never met someone who so completely can't know what you're talking about unless you tell him. Like, doesn't read people at all, mostly because he's just self-centered. He's so wrapped up in his own head that he doesn't really comprehend what other people are thinking about him. So this guy started hanging out around again, and he started getting really like beat up about because he was coming over almost every day. Like this dude's was at our house for like every day for 2 weeks, leading up to like Christmas, and it was like he'd call up others of our friends and like get them all to come over. So we'd have, I mean, we always have way too many friends at my house. Like everyone I know comes over every weekend, most days of the week. There's always people here, you know, because most of them have nowhere else to hang out, and my house is cool, so everybody comes and hangs out here, even when they're not hanging out with me or my brother, because I have two younger brothers and we all have the same group of friends. So they mostly come over to hang out with my brother Victor in his room and sort of stay contained down there. But even if Victor's not around, they'll come over and hang out in his room with each other and stuff. So these guys are like always around. And Derek starts coming around every fucking day. He's bringing over all these friends and stuff. And me and Victor were like busy. Victor was finishing his semester of school. I've been like, I'm in calls with Cookie. I do stuff online. And for the most part, I don't want to do any of the shit these guys do, right? All they do is sit around and play fucking video games. Like, there's seriously a full week where all they did was play Tekken every fucking day. I don't like Tekken. I don't like playing video games. I don't like watching them play video games when I've got better shit to do. So, you know,
Sitting around playing Tekken all day is only acceptable if it's 1998 and you're like 12.
not Tekken 1, but like, the modern Tekkens, but In any case, that's what my friends do for the most part. Is they play video games. You know, like either you'll have one guy playing Grand Theft Auto 5 in his own little like on one TV, and you'll have another guy playing another game on another TV, and then other people
Oh,
sitting
that's the
around.
way. That's the setup of Maximum Bro. I
Right.
love that.
That's how Victor's room is at all times. There's always several people playing video games in his room. Him on the computer, often playing on his 3DS or whatever. Just tons of people in the room. They're either playing fighting games or they're just playing video games. Someone's on their laptop. They don't just sit around, basically. And again, like for me, I don't really want to participate in that because I have shit to do on my own computer upstairs, you know? And I don't want to be crammed in his fucking hot ass room with a bunch of other dudes who are just sitting around, you know, shooting the shit or whatever, not really saying anything. And I prefer like these longer, more meaningful conversations. I like hanging out with one or two people at a time, you know, like get one friend upstairs. We have a conversation, kind of like when me and you do Skype calls. Like this is the kind of conversation I have with my friends. And when there's a bunch of people over, there's no engagement there. It's just everyone making, you know, potty jokes at each other kind of thing.
Yeah, I know
So
that feel.
so that's how it is almost every day in Victor's room. But when Victor was busy and I was busy, both of us were sort of disengaged with it. Where, you know, Victor would come home from school and there'd be a bunch of dudes in his room and he'd just be like, get the fuck out of here because I have to do my homework, you know? And so he'd throw everyone out and then they start acting like he's being a dick. So suddenly it's like everyone, like Derek especially, leads this charge where he's like all hurt that we don't want to hang out with him or whatever. It's like, dude, you've been here every fucking day. We have other stuff to do, you know, like Victor's got friends in his school who he, you know, is doing work with, who he's trying to like launch his career as a filmmaker. I've got a bunch of people who I talk to online and make videos with and stuff like that, you know. And so this sort of divergence like it's created this completely needless drama, which apparently Derek also blew out of proportion by making it sound like Victor's like BFF, his, you know, favorite, his best friend for the past 8 years kind of thing, was making it sound like he was angry at Victor for this, and it turned out that was like barely true. That he had just blown it out of proportion and stuff. So, yeah, we had a lot of bro drama. But of course, when you have bro drama, it always leads to epic bro rekindlings where everyone gets wasted and cries and talks about how much they love everyone else in the group, and those epic
Oh,
big
yeah.
gay bro moments that always happen.
Yeah, I guess there's that, like, the stereotype about men that, you know, they can't express their feelings or anything or whatever,
Right.
or groups of friends or whatever. But it's never been like that with me and my friends. I mean, my group of friends were always very much fags with each other. I mean, every time any of us see each other, it's always, I miss the fuck out of you, buddy. Come here,
Right.
you're my best fucking friend. I don't never see you no more except for at lame parties. Why don't we hang out and play some video games?
Yeah, that's how my group of friends is too, because we've known each other, like the way my group kind of works is that, you know, we all met in high school basically. Like most of them are people I've known since high school. And the thing is, you know, a lot of people when they're in high school, they know a lot of people. You have like a big group of friends, but not me. I just hung out with like two people. And the people who I hung out with all gradually as they graduated college or high school grew distant from everyone else except for my group, you know. So basically the few friends that I had, because these are the people who I sort of selected. You know, I'm choosy about friends. I don't just, you know, I wanted to have like only people who were at my house, you know, every weekend. These are people who like I helped through their own problems, who helped me a lot, you know. Each of my best friends has like a purpose that I can count on them for, you know, something that makes them special and stand out, like an elite force, like a SWAT team kind of thing, you know, or
Yeah,
a
well,
heist
like,
team kind of group. I have the kind of friends I could do a heist with, you know, as that Dane Cook joke I think goes, about getting your friends and doing a heist. I have that group of friends. So, you know, we've all been super close for a really long time, but we see way too much of each other because everyone is always here because no one else has anything else to do. Like, they're all broke, so they can't go out and do anything. You know, no one wants to drive out to the fucking city, and a lot of them are not 21, so we can't really go to bars, you know, because Victor's only 20, and so the ones who are like friends with him first are younger. And so there's not really anything we want to go out and do. And my house is nice and we have everything here. So, you know, it's like, why would we leave? But at the same time, it means we see way the fuck too much of each other. And
yeah.
that's when
With
drama
my
starts
friends,
to
it's just
happen.
With my friends, it's just the opposite. I mean, we're such a family. We've been together for so long. But the winter comes and we're all in different schools or at different jobs doing our own thing. I'm working on my videos and everything 24/7. And it's winter outside there. No one's going outside and driving to see anyone in the winter.
Right.
So we don't ever see each other except at these parties when there's 40 million people over there. And it sucks. But when you have those relationships with your bros for so long, those high school friendships that keep lasting, those are the best friendships because when you're around each other, I mean, my friends can tell if I'm about to fucking punch somebody in the face or start crying or whatever,
Right.
just from looking at me or just being next to me because you know each other so well. And that's a very special thing. And that's why I felt so bad about hurting my buddy's feelings the other night. Because, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be the drive to meet a woman or have a girlfriend or whatever. That's all nice and good. But those fucking, that brohood is, and I have girl bros too. I'm not just saying it's just guys. I have friends of all genders. But it's a bro kind of relationship, and that's a relationship you don't ever want to ruin.
Do you have friends
So-
of all genders? Do you have non-gender friends? Do you have transgender friends?
Well, they don't count because they're not people.
And we write down on our scorecard for how many social justice bloggers can we piss off per day. We are at max capacity now. Congratulations.
Yeah, but I guess the moral of my story about that guy is just that,
Tough guys have feelings too.
yeah, totally. And, since, because, hey, all of our listeners are bronies, and bronies crave morals. That's what they're always bitching about lately. Not enough morals. They need that guidance because they're all such fuck-ups in their lives.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what happened is, and also the other moral is that you can't, I mean, is you're always try to be nice, obviously, but you can't always be a good person to everyone. You're gonna slip up. You're gonna hurt someone's feelings that you care about. You're gonna feel like you're a horrible monster like I am, who just hurts everyone close to you. And I mean, cause what happened is we're just talking and being drunk, and he said the wrong thing or he said the right thing the wrong way, and he hurt my pride a little bit, made me feel like he was trying to pull some alpha male shit on me. So in response to that, I hurt his feelings a little bit.
I mean, I know exactly, the feel because, and I've never really pulled that on any of my friends because I don't know, I'm always very detached in conversation. Like I have a big ability to like stop myself and go, okay, I better not say this even when I'm drunk. And I feel that way towards my friends sometimes where like for instance my friend Brando, there's a huge amount of mutual respect between us that he knows because he's very much a jock, like a super jock. All he does is pretty much work out. He's not really about going to the clubs or anything like that. I mean, he's had pretty much like you. He's had a few serious relationships, a few, like girls that he got drunk and had sex with kind of thing. But for the most part, he's not really on the market for that or anything. He mostly just works out all the time and is obsessed with like his, body and everything. And he's always talking about working out and stuff like that. And most of my friends are like that. They work out a lot and I don't. So I'm the sort of like fat slob of the group comparatively, even though I'm not really fat or a slob. But anyway, he works out a lot and everything, and he respects me as the intellectual one, and I respect him as the physical one. But there's definitely times when me and him disagree. I can clearly see that in his mind he's thinking, "You fucking punk." Because he's sort of disgusted by the fact that I don't work out. Like he more respects people who have something closer to his lifestyle where
Perfectly
yeah.
understandable.
And I am the same way towards him, but I've never let him know that. Like I know that he feels that way about me because he's let it slip through and people have told me that he's felt that way like in private, but I have never let slip through that. I have the same exact reaction where I think of him sometimes. I'm just like, oh, he's a fucking idiot. Like, why would I care about his opinion? Because he is, he's just not as intelligent as me, or doesn't have the same analytically minded approach to things as me, and I know that you can't be like that because that's exactly the opposite of, being able to be socially progressive. But that's the whole problem is that, because he's not as analytically minded, he doesn't as much realize that you can't be like that. Whereas I'm going, oh, I'm going to be open and accept that you're not this minded way. But he's going, I'm having difficulty accepting that you're this minded way. But all things considered, he's really good about it. I mean, he could be far worse. You know, as a jockey guy, he could just be like, "Give me your fucking lunch money, punk. I don't have to listen to you. You're not strong. I could beat you up in a fight." Like he's never threatened to beat me up or anything like that. You know, as a result of me. I mean, he'll jokingly be like, "Yeah, well, I could fucking toss you," and I'd be like, "All right, so you know," and sort of. I definitely take a smug, pretentious attitude sometimes towards, you know, if a jockey person tries to throw their weight around, I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, fucking, what respect do you command from legions of followers, you pissant? I'm the lord of this castle. You're just a
Yeah, but at the
god.
end, but at the end of the day, the only argument that ever really matters is I'm bigger than you and I can beat you up.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's the difference between you and me. I have so much more respect for jockey guys
I mean, I have
than for
I have
fucking
plenty of
nerds.
respect for it, but at the same time, I mean, this is the age-old, you know, sort of struggle where you can never really say that one side's better than the other. You always have the nerd heroes and the jock heroes. Like, if you've ever heard of, there's an anime series called Code Geass, which is kind of like the ultimate, like
Yeah, I've
nerd
seen it.
control guy. Yeah, if you've seen it, because he's a tactician, you know. So even though they show throughout the series that he is like weak as shit, because anytime they actually have like a physical event when they do like the school sections, they'll have like a foot like running segment, and he's like this weak ass motherfucker, you know. And then his best friend growing up, Suzaku, is like the total jock. He doesn't really think things through, and he's like super strong. He's this fucking badass warrior type guy, but you know, Lelouch constantly sort of wraps him around his finger because he's more intelligent, you know. But they both clearly respect one another as being the intellectual and the you know the jock guy. But Lelouch always kind of holds everyone as, well, I'm the one who's in control because I'm pulling the strings, you know. So you
Yeah.
know, there's never really a way to say one is definitively right, because for every time that a big jock really did just beat the shit out of someone who was trying to hold control, there's also the guy who held control and completely wiped out all the jocks, you know. It can go either way.
Yeah, but is that really a nerd? I mean, these fucking guys who got pushed into lockers and they have this grudge against jockey guys their whole lives. They always pull the same fucking tired arguments. Well, you know, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you know, the nerds run the world. But Bill Gates and Steve Jobs are not and were never nerds. They were
Right. Well,
visionaries
I
and
mean, that's not
geniuses.
what I mean though. I'm not
I
talking
mean,
I don't really
your
mean
average fucking
jock.
comic book geek is not a
Right.
genius. He's just a fucking geek.
I guess that's what I mean. I don't really mean nerds versus jocks. I mean like geniuses versus, you know, physical people. Like that more. Like I wouldn't really
Yeah.
I call myself a nerd. I don't think I have any defense if people say, "Oh, you're a nerd." I'm not gonna sit there and be like, no, I'm not." Because unlike you, I don't give a fuck if someone calls me a nerd, and I just don't fucking care. But
I don't give a fuck
by the
either. I mean,
standard that you usually present for what a nerd is, I would not consider myself one by your standard.
yeah, I mean, I just see it as like a socially fucking awkward, shitty person who can't act right.
Right, because
Because I mean,
like to me, that's sort of like the
I
idea.
never saw the divide of like, because I mean, all of my friends are fucking nerds, and I'm a fucking nerd. But you know,
Right.
like I said, my friend, I have a friend who is obsessed with DBZ, but works all the time and scores
I
with
mean,
lots of girls. I have another friend who's a nerd but plays guitar and rocks out.
I think you're
I'm the biggest nerd in the world, but I love fucking Stallone movies and wrestling, and I can make people laugh and shit.
the best way
So
to
I just
define nerd in your terms would be like revenge of the nerd. You know, the nerd who feels that he's held back, that he's different, that he's better, or that he, you know, is not the same as the jock, or is jealous of, or is
I just
or
hate this
not
this
jealous.
this attitude among nerdy people with nerdy interests or whatever. I hate this attitude of, oh, these fucking meatheads, fuck them.
Right. That's the worst.
It's pathetic. It's just them being covering up the fact that they're worthless and have shitty lives.
And I think it's interesting. One of the best things that I like from Film Crit Hulk. I've told you about him before, right?
Yeah.
Film Crit Hulk, one of my favorite critics. He talks about the films of Edgar Wright, which I'm doing a podcast series on with my brother on Digibrony After Dark. And he did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. He did the TV show Spaced, and a bunch of stuff like that. And what's great about these shows is that, like, Film Crit Hulk called it the zeitgeist. Like, that's how he saw it as, where these were shows that had a nerdy interest, but they did not have, like, like nerdy characters. Like, you never get the impression that these guys are like, or I should say, it's not about them being nerds. You know, the show is just about them being normal people, and they happen to also have nerdy interests. It's like when you watch Shaun of the Dead, he's just your average guy. He's like a perfectly relatable guy, and not like this nerdy or, you know, awkward or weird guy. He has a girlfriend, he has a normal job, you know, but it just happens.
Which is how it is in real life.
Right, it
for
just
the most
happens that
part.
he plays a lot of video games. He'll make references to somewhat nerdy stuff, mostly in the gaming culture, but he's not like, you know, there's no, it's not like his life is framed around. I think that's what you defined it as before when we were discussing nerds, that a nerd is someone who frames their life around the thing that, like video games, you know, like they self-identify as someone who plays video games, and like that's all they are, you know. To say, oh, I'm not a person, I just play video games. And I understand why that would be like what turns some people off of labels like that. Like if you wanted to say, a lot of people say, oh, I'm not really a brony because I'm not obsessed with it the way that some bronies are. And personally, I use brony as a label in the way of it's not the all-encompassing. You know, like I collect labels in a way. If I wanted to label myself, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm a gamer, I'm a brony, I'm a otaku, I'm this and that and that. You know, whereas some people think it's more of an all-encompassing thing. But for me, it's like I am first and foremost this person, you know, and then here's a list of my interests which have shaped me as a person, but they do not define me as a person. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, if people want to fucking call me a brony or whatever, I don't give a shit. I mean, like, I got into the whole My Little Pony thing like fucking 2 years ago, I think, when season 2 was just starting.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I don't know if you were following me back then, but the stuff that I was releasing back then was like really your typical like flag waving brony type stuff. Like when you just get into it and you're so fucking proud that you've discovered this thing and you just want to like heave it all over the world, which unfortunately some people never grow out of.
Right.
But
I mean, I didn't really have that with brony, mostly because I had already been into anime, and I had done that there. Not really. I wouldn't. Yeah, never mind. I did that in my early anime fan
yeah,
days. I was totally the
I mean,
guy
like I had that
who.
phase when I wanted to wear the t-shirts and talk about and do all the fucking memes and shit. And then I went through this, and then afterwards, you know, when I started getting shit from those fucking people, like everything you do is offensive, and I don't know. I just realized that the brony fan base is full of a lot of hypocrisy and fucking mouth water, fucking slack jawed
Right.
idiocy.
I think we've discussed this every podcast we've done.
Yeah.
This,
So
the
I
hypocrisy
went
of
through
the
my
furry
fucking
fandom.
don't ever call me that phase. I'm not one of those people.
Right.
But now I just don't fucking give a shit. And I have a fucking brony channel now, so I have to be at least somewhat sincere
Right.
about it.
I mean, to me, it's only obnoxious when it's the evangelists. Like, I get I get being defensive, and I would be defensive, but I would not be forceful. You know, there's a big difference between someone saying, "Oh, that brony show sucks," and you going, "Well, I disagree," and then but it's okay that you have your own opinion and you don't have to watch the show. There's a big difference between that and going, oh, you think it sucks? Well, I'm going to force you to watch it. Have you not seen it? Well, you better watch it. Oh, well, it probably appeals to you in secret and you just don't know because you haven't seen enough of it. Well, maybe if you gave it more thought, you'd be able to appreciate it. You know, like that's a whole, it's
Yeah.
like denial that people have different opinions. And nothing bothers me more than that because I'm a reviewer and like having different opinions is the whole basis of why anyone would care. I'm so like this seems to be my crusade right now is like the difference, the disconnect that I think there is between what people seem to want from reviews and what the entire purpose of reviews is. Where the whole point of a review is to share your perspective, and every perspective is necessarily different. Like,
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking
but
about, and I
everyone seems to
totally
want
agree.
reviews to just be a parrot of their own opinion. And if you really want that, write your own review.
The worst is when they want that, but they try to pretty it up and say what they want is like an objective review. Suck a fucking dick. You don't want an objective review. You
Right.
want your review,
Yeah,
but you're
that's
too fucking lazy to make it.
yeah. I mean, I already hate the idea of the objective review, and I've gone into
Oh
that
yeah, it
plenty of
sounds.
times. But yeah,
If such a thing could even exist, it would be the most boring shit. I'd
yeah.
never want to watch it.
There's a great parody of that by Jim Sterling. He has a completely objective review of Final Fantasy 13, and it's literally like Final Fantasy 13 is a game. It has graphics, which are things that you can look at. It also has a combat system, like, and he just keeps, describing the game. He's like, there you go, objective review. But like, I've gone into why that bothers me a number of times, but what you just brought up is the far worse, uglier version, where someone says you're not being objective, and the reason they give is a completely subjective opinion they have of the episode. Like, oh, you're not being objective because you didn't point out that the pacing was bad. And I'm like, but I liked the pacing. So fuck you. Like, where are you coming from with this? You're literally conflating your own opinion with the idea that it's somehow an objective truth when there is no such thing at all. Yeah.
Fuck them. Just fuck them all.
I love how that's always your answer at the end. It's just like that minor thing that kind of pisses me off. Fuck the world. Let's burn it down. I love this amazing irony that I knew it was coming. When I posted your Duck Dynasty video on Facebook, and like both of my parents liked it. They're like, "Yeah, man, it's so true." And I'm like, "You motherfuckers are the only reason I know about Duck Dynasty." Like, I mean, I knew about the show from Cookie told me what it was when I kept seeing products for it everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck is Duck Dynasty? But my mom's all like, oh, did you hear about that guy on Duck Dynasty? Yeah, he's like hates gay people. And then she was telling me how she's all bothered because I guess a lot of people who she knows on Facebook started like making him their avatar to be like, oh, yeah, well, we support what he says, which is fucking ridiculous in its own right, but the fact that anyone even cares is like the first step of idiocy here before we even get to the idiocy of using him as your avatar like a fucking idiot. So
Did
like,
you say your parents like that show?
no, they don't like it. They just heard about it
Oh.
and told me about it. But
Because I was gonna ask why, because that's like a religious show, and I was
yeah,
confused.
no, they don't. They don't watch it, but they were talking about the drama from it. Because my mom tells me about drama. She keeps up with that kind of shit. Because she's on Facebook and she watches, the TV news. Because this is on the news. This is like on regular news shows that this guy said some like, vaguely gay bashing shit. And, they're playing it on the news. And it's like the most ignorant shit ever. But it's the kind of stuff that almost every fucking guy says. Like every ignorant gay bashing guy says the same shit. You could have turned around next to you and probably found someone who had the same opinion as this motherfucker. But like people made such a big deal out of it, and it's like, okay, well, great, give all this attention to this guy, talk about it forever like it's a real fucking issue, and then for my parents to watch that video and be like, yeah, it's stupid that we pay so much attention to reality TV, and I'm like, it's your fault, you're the ones paying attention to this conflict to begin with, and I know they're not going to stop even though they
Yeah.
watch
My favorite comment. My favorite comment on the Duck Dynasty video was some fucking idiot was like, you say you don't watch the show, but then you say that you know what Duck Dynasty is, so you must watch the show. What?
Right, because there's no such thing as cultural context at all. You can't
Because I've
Wikipedia.
never been in a Walmart and seen the 50,000 Duck Dynasty pillowcases and greeting cards and hats and fucking condoms and whatever else they got that they slapped their fucking hillbilly faces on.
Right.
They have a cookbook. I own it.
A fucking Duck Dynasty bumper on the back of one of those motorized carts for the fat motherfucker sliding down the aisles. Fucking
Right. I mean, it's like the two points that are so good from your videos. The first one is like this crazy double standard. Like, really, you didn't expect him to not like gay people? Like, people don't think through other people. I've noticed, like, anytime some celebrity or someone has like a negative opinion and people, I guess a better way to put this would be I think I might have told you before about this Cat's Millionaire conflict I had, where the musician Cat's Millionaire, who's a social justice blogger, and I really love her music, she found out that I was a supporter of the Molestia blog and told me to stop listening to her music, right? She's like, stop following me and delete all my music, is what she commanded at me. And she at one point said on her Tumblr, people who make rape jokes should just die, right? So that whole thing,
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into that because we've already talked about it on the pub crawl, and I'm gonna upload that as its own thing. But the reason I'm bringing it up is that the
I have a
posts.
question about that.
Yeah,
What if you've been raped and you still make rape jokes?
I
Do you
don't
still die?
I really don't know. I think
Should I
she's.
just
I mean, she's said
Well,
since then
well,
that
social justice warriors don't care
and they don't make
about
sense.
rape victims. They care about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get into that. Like I said, I've got a long thing that we talked about it on the pub crawl that I'm gonna upload in like the next couple days, probably as soon as I finally edit it, where we really go in depth about that. But the thing I wanted to bring up rather was the post she made after that, where she says like, you try to just make friends in the community and everything, but you never know who's going to have like this gross other side to them, or who's gonna have like these disgusting opinions and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there going, yeah, good luck finding anyone on Earth that just matches all your opinions. It's not going to happen. Like if you can't respect that other people are not going to have all the exact same viewpoints, no matter how important those viewpoints are to you, like, I mean, there's stuff that I believe in with all my heart that is really important to me that I really wish the world agreed with me on. And
Some
I
of the
would.
most vile people in the world who are like actual rapists and actually beat women are usually the ones who will try to pull that shit like they're, oh, I would never make a rape joke or say something bad. You gotta treat women with respect. It's always those guys that are the fucking rapists and serial wife beater guys.
I don't know about all that, but what I'm
It's the
trying to get at
truth.
here, let me finish my goddamn spiel, is that like there's these opinions that if that I wish everyone had and that I hate that other people don't. But if I held everyone to that standard where you have to agree with me on like what I consider the fundamental truths, I just wouldn't have any friends. Like all these cool people who I totally agree with on all this other stuff, who I can be good friends with, even though they don't agree with some core tenet that I think of. Sort of like I'm like a hardcore determinist, and I think we should base our society around like some of my deterministic ideals, and like my vision of the ideal society is not really what a lot of people would think of. And so, I always am going to go through every day of my life thinking, man, no one around me feels the same way I do about politics in the world, but that's okay because they're pretty cool people and I can work with them. I can find common ground and I can respect the differences in our ground. I can say, huh, your opinion is also worthwhile in its own way, and like, let's try and reconcile these differences. And I understand that we're not all the same person. Just the sheer, like, to see someone write that where they're like, oh man, you never know when someone's gonna have this disgusting opinion, which really means this different opinion. It's like you should be expecting that. You really should. If you go into every social interaction thinking that everyone's on the same page as you, you're never gonna get anywhere that way.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, I mean, my thoughts on the matter is that basically anything you tell me not to say, it's my solemn duty to say 3 times as often.
And another thing is that I think most people do think that way, like the way Cat's Millionaire does, where they expect everyone else to sort of share their viewpoint, because if you sit around at work, I learned so much just from the short time that I was working in the break room listening to people talk. And those moments where someone says something that disagrees with someone else's politics and they're so shocked that anyone feels that way, they get into these like debates and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I at all times have the expectation that no one agrees with me. And I know that that's because I grew up not, I've never been someone that people generally agreed with. I've always been the guy who everyone goes, oh, what, you're crazy, or what, you're wrong, or blah, blah, blah. So, I've always come up with the expectation that no one in the room is like me at all. No one who I'm going to talk to is anything like anyone else I'm going to talk to, because there's no such thing as that like idea of normalcy. You know, a lot of people say, oh, there is no normal, and I don't think that's quite true. I think there is a degree of normalcy, but it's not the one that people perceive. You know, it's like when someone tells you that they eat their it's this is so common with food where someone's like, you know, you see someone dip something into caramel. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's a French fry, and someone dips a French fry into caramel, and you're like, oh man, that's so shocking. No one would ever do that. I've never seen this happen before, you know? And it's like
Get all
this
food and applesauce.
this totally like mind-blowing experience for you, but the thing is it's because you're just expecting everyone to eat the same way as you. Or a better one even would be dinner times. Like most families eat at totally different times, and a lot of people just expect that everyone eats at 6, and it blows their fucking mind when you tell them that you don't. You know, it's like, oh, we just don't. There is no specific time. Or, oh, it's 8 o'clock, let's eat dinner. You eat at 8? That's so weird. And it's like, it's not weird, it's just different from you, and you've projected your own life and expectations onto everyone else. So, you know, and I wish, or my favorite, this one also comes with the marginalizing of pain, is the classic when someone hits you and tells you it didn't hurt. You ever had that one?
Oh yeah, that more of that fucking macho alpha male fucking bullshit. You always got the one fucking asshole at Thanksgiving, some 40-year-old, 50-year-old motherfucking baby boomer
Oh,
asshole with a
nothing's worse than
patchy
when it's an
beard
old guy. That's the absolute worst.
talking. How you fucking been, you little? I ain't seen you since you were this tall. Poof, hits you in the fucking chest as hard as he can. This is how I show affection. Poof, poof. God, I just want to hit him in the back of the head with a fucking steel chair.
Right.
What kind of people do you hang out with?
I've met
That's
those
how
people.
that's how older men are.
I've
No,
met
That's
they
some of
how-
them.
aren't.
I mean, it depends on the person. Jesse just likes to make these broad generalizations about people in general.
They're not broad. They're all true. Everything I say
Everything
is
Jesse
God's
says
honest
is
truth.
a broad generalization of people, but they always are people who do exist. They're not as encompassing as he makes them sound, but there are people like that. I've run into some, and usually for me, I was mostly talking about when I was a kid, like other kids at school, where they'd hit me and like, because I've always had really soft skin. I've never been strong. I've always been like a tiny, skinny little kid, right? I was like the kid who weighed nothing and was tiny. And so, you know, another kid would like hit me and be like, haha. I'd be like, ow, fuck, that hurt. Like, you know, I'd be like in legit pain. They'd be like, that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. And like, you know, get one of their friends, here, let me hit him the same way. Did that hurt? No. And I'm like, but they aren't me. There is no normalcy for this. There is no same pain threshold for everyone. I had a low pain threshold. Someone hits me and they say, oh, that couldn't possibly have hurt unless you're some kind of like crazy weirdo, you know. But the truth is, everyone has a different threshold for that, and it's the worst when it's older men because you expect them to know better, and it does happen. Like I remember, I had this friend named Ethan, and he was one of those like. He's one of those guys who was like kind of jockey, but you could tell his dad just forced it all on him. Like his dad was, you know, oh, don't be a pussy, go, you know, play football and stuff. And the kid clearly was like more interested in video games and stuff, but he grew up totally jockey because his dad pushed it on him, you know. And there was this one time where we were playing catch or something, or like frisbee, and his dad like decks me for the frisbee, and I'm like, ow, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, that didn't hurt, and I'm just like, I was so baffled that an adult said that to me. Like, you know, I'm like 6 or maybe 8, and this adult man is telling me this shit that like schoolyard kids say. And I was so shocked, but that was probably the first time I was disillusioned by adulthood, that they're supposed to be responsible people, you know, like wow. Adults can be really fucking stupid and insensitive, you know, but that level of marginalization can go on such a broad scale where on New Year's Eve, the reason, like when I started drinking on New Year's, because I started drinking mad early, it was because I got mad at my dad because I was talking about my friend Derek, and I said basically some things had happened where my dad had basically yelled at him for something, and Derek had got really paranoid because he thought he'd like done something wrong and that he'd offended my dad, and he was like feeling really bad about it. And I told my dad about this, and Derek wasn't sure if he should come over for New Year's, and my dad was like, "Well, he's being a pussy if he doesn't come over. He should come over and be like, own up to the fact that he, made a mistake and just like apologize and we'd all be cool." He's like, if he runs away, that's him being a coward and stuff like that, right? And I was like, well, he has really bad paranoia and anxiety issues. And I said, I think he has PTSD from, his military time. And my dad's like, what? That's bullshit. Because mind you, he was in the military, but he didn't go into like open combat. He has shot at people and stuff. He has done some shit, which maybe my dad doesn't know that even, that he's shot at people and stuff like that. But he has a lot of stress from the military. Like everything about it completely stressed him out, made him paranoid. He was like, I didn't have these paranoia and anxiety issues before I went in. And I said to him, you've probably got PTSD. And he was like, yeah, when I was leaving the military, the psychologist who was asking me about like what kind of symptoms I had, he was like, well, I get paranoid and anxious now. And the guy was like, well, you might have some elements of post-traumatic stress disorder. So me, as an armchair psychologist and general empath, was like, I think he's got that. And my dad's like, oh, this bullshit. He's just got like, I can't deal with my problem syndrome, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, are you fucking shitting me? And my dad is generally a somewhat intellectual person, but this is the kind of shit where he really pisses me off, is when he's marginalizing his pain. It's the same as if he punched him in the arm and said that didn't hurt, and I'm just like, you aren't him. You don't know, because his experience could have been completely different from yours. My dad had a really hard upbringing. He had 3 younger brothers, and his mom like locked herself in a fucking bathroom for like 4 years when he was in high school. They had no food. They had to like steal to eat and stuff. He had a hard fucking life, and I get that. And when he sees people whose life isn't as hard as his, and they don't seem to be striving as hard as he is, then he usually gets mad because he's like, oh, well, my life was much harder, so, and I'm successful. And I'm like, yeah, but you also had a strong discipline. His dad taught him discipline more than anything else, So my dad had like a drive to succeed and to do things a correct way. But Derek, he's raised by his mom. He never knew his dad, never even seen his dad, has no idea who he is. He lived with his mom and his younger sister. His mom was a bitch, and she was like overprotective, never let him leave the house or anything. This guy is like completely sheltered. So why would you expect him to have the same reaction to the military as you did? Whereas your dad, like, was strict with you, made you, pull weeds and live by the city of your teeth, and you were out all day. You were out in high school wandering the streets, getting into my dad got into a lot of fights. He was from that generation where people were more swashbuckling and masculine, and Derek's a guy who was not allowed to leave his house without his mom's permission when he was in high school. Like, glory days. So the idea that he would have the same perspective, that the military would affect him the same way, is completely daft. These are totally different people. And so that sort of marginalization, I almost lost it. I started drinking because I was hoping I'd get drunk fast enough while I was still mad about it to start, like, to go on a tirade or something, but I didn't. I had a great time and it had way too much fun to get mad about anything.
Hey, well, yeah, there's no greater mistake of nature than a man raised by women. You should have got more drunk. You should have fought with your dad. That would have been a story.
My dad would beat the ever-loving shit out of me. He
still would have been a story.
My dad he's very strong. He runs marathons. He's very healthy, in great shape. Like probably some of the best shape he's been in his life, even though he's like almost probably 47 or so. And I go for 2-mile walks every day, and that's about it, starting like 2 weeks ago. And I mean, my dad has never fought anyone in his adult life, but if he had a little bit of alcohol in him and you pushed him a little bit too far, he would lay you the fuck out. So, like, I would have been gone if that had happened.
What a cool dude.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's a great guy. I mean, don't let any of this make me suggest that my dad's not a really terrific person,
What it's making him sound cool to me.
Yeah,
That's what I value in a man.
right. He's definitely a
Wow.
great person. I mean, he's a huge inspiration to Derek, and that's why Derek was so upset that that he thought he had really upset my dad. And he came back and apologized, and he did eventually. My dad gave him this whole speech about how you gotta not be a pussy, you gotta come back and admit when you're wrong and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm just like, you, that's all fine and good, but the fact that you're walking around with that mentality bothers me. The fact that you're walking around thinking of people that way, where you expect them to react to situations the same way that you did, and he can't get past that. Like I've tried to get him out of that mindset so many times, but he can't. He acts the same way. Like my dad completely like respects and is okay with gay people, for instance, right? But he can't understand them and he can't empathize with it because he always will sit there and go like, I just don't get it. I don't get why you'd ever want to bang another dude. And I'm like, you're not supposed to get it. You're not gay. You're never going to understand that. You're never going to be in their mind. You don't need to
I
be
get it.
in their mind to, yeah. I mean, I personally, I get it. Like, I'm like, yeah, guys, you want to fucking have those big ass masculine arms protecting you and shit.
Sometimes you just want to suck a dick.
Right.
No.
I mean, personally, I get it. I know why my dad doesn't get it because there was like a gay pedophile in his neighborhood when he was a kid, and like that kind of colored his perception of like gay. Because in his mind, gay will always mean touching little boys.
That's
like
what that's how my mom feels too. She's the same exact way.
right. Like in his head, gay will never just mean like two men. It'll always be like it'll always have that kind of creepy pedophilic edge to it, and he knows it's wrong. And he's not going to bring this up in any kind of social situation or context. And I really, I shouldn't even be putting him on blast this way. But hopefully no one who, knows him would see this. It's on your channel, so it's not like it's going on mine. Because his coworkers do watch my stuff, but occasionally. But in any case, he's a great man. And I totally understand this psychosis. Like, this is a thing that's inbred into him from a childhood, and he can't help it in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wish he'd get over it. Like, I wish he'd realize that he's not supposed to understand it. He's just supposed to respect it, and when you view people through that lens, like even when you're saying, oh, I respect that people are different from me, but you can't treat them as if they're the same while saying that. You can't say, oh, I respect that you had a different upbringing, but you should act the way that I do. That's backwards. That's hypocritical. So yeah.
Yeah, I respect gay people and I empathize with their gayness, I guess. Like I'm down with the struggle and everything. But I don't like faggoty behavior.
Mm.
Like
Ask Digi how
I don't
that
know.
went for him.
Yeah, you probably would have beat the shit out of Vita yesterday.
oh god.
Yesterday,
He's
you
at
mean
my-
New Year's Eve.
If you didn't know, Vita's been at my house for the past 5 days or so,
Oh boy.
hanging out. And let's just say that when he's off his medicine, he becomes extremely clingy and very hyperactive.
You
So,
wanted to suck his dick.
yeah, he was trying to basically. He just kept begging me for sex for like a day until I forced him to take his medicine.
Why didn't you let him suck your dick?
I don't want it.
Would have stopped him bouncing off the walls for a while.
You would think that, but he would just want more. I know him. He's
Yeah,
never
he's so
satisfied.
No, I just mean like God, like I hate like wimpy, soft voiced, fucking feminine guys. I think more than anything in the world.
Mm. I don't know.
Because
I like him.
I'm of the minority nowadays. I still think that masculinity is fucking cool.
I mean, I appreciate masculinity, but I'm also fairly disillusioned towards it because, like, me and my brother Victor, when we were going through our like late teen years, Victor especially had this whole obsession with manliness. Like, masculinity and manliness as a concept to him was like everything, like the way his word for cool and awesome was manly, So, like, all of his favorite anime, for instance, 'cause we're both big anime nerds, and he watched something like Gurren Lagann. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's an incredibly masculine show.
Oh man, that's the most bro show that
Right.
ever was invented.
So Victor that was his dogma, was fucking Gurren Lagann. He worshipped Kamina. He wanted to be Kamina. He wanted to have the tattoos and everything. Like he wanted to be that guy, and he had this whole like man thing that he wanted to be. But also, I think a big part of the reason is just that me and him grew up so not manly. You know, like we idolized that sort of thing because we couldn't be that. We were the nerdy kids who sat around inside, you know, and never talked to girls until we were in our fucking teenage years, you know. So there was this sort of era where we were like really into this whole like manhood thing. We watched lots of bro movies and stuff like that, watched all the bro anime and stuff. And then it just kind of fell by the wayside because we kind of got, I guess, came to terms with the fact that that just wasn't either of us, you know. I mean, Victor works out and stuff, and he keeps a fine figure, and he's still, you know, very straight and very straight. Let's just say like every definition of straight, you know, not just as in um, sexuality, but he's a straight man kind of character, if you will. And so even though he's still like that, he's not really about like that whole dignity honor. He definitely has an honor code. Like he definitely prescribes to. I guess it's the difference between manly and macho, is what I really mean. Which was a great post by Yahtzee a few years ago, where he talked about the difference between a manly character and a macho character. And he was like, manly characters are ones like Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, or trying to think of others, guys who are like suave and cool while also being manly, like, you know, the kind of guy who actually has sex with like women and stuff and lives like this. He's like a cool romantic warrior kind of character who's chivalrous and badass, you know. And then there's the macho characters, which is like your Marcus Phoenix or something, who's just like this, ugh, I'm violent and I'm cold, and he never shows any emotion, and, you know, if he has sex with a woman, he never looks like he's enjoying it, kind of thing, you know, the macho bravado filled character, you know. And I think
Oh
like
yeah.
something like Kamina sort of straddles that line where he's at once very macho, but he does have his moments where you see that he can be like real, he can be a real guy, you know. But like that macho
Well, that,
character is more like larger than life, it's like unreal, you know.
well, that's how I feel about these you know, those kind of club slut sort of fake macho kind of guys, because
Right.
the kind of guys, those Jersey Shore types who they'll go to the clubs and they'll do their pickup artist shit and think that they're being some kind of alpha, but it's not really alpha. It's just playing the part that you want to
Right.
portray, you know?
Yeah.
Real masculine power is more subtle than that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd like to think that you know, as far I think Victor falls well into the category of someone who is a manly person, you know, and not macho. I think that's the biggest difference that needs to be established. And mind you, I'm not saying that this is really, because even here we have a gender role, you know, problem where if you say, oh, these traits are manly, then that means a woman can't have them. And I don't think that's true at all. If there were better words for it, I'd find them. But at the same time, I do think that regardless of whether these traits can be had by both genders or not, I do think that it is folly to suggest that the two genders are exactly the same. There are certain traits that are always going to be more prominent in men and certain traits that are always going to be more prominent in women. And I don't want, like, you know, you can make jokes about them and stereotype them or whatever, and that kind of stuff doesn't really bother me because it's all in good fun. But I think it's important to understand that, like, that was the whole point of my embracing girliness video with MLP, where I said what's so good about MLP is that it manages to not just be stereotypical girl stuff, but it also doesn't ignore that these are females, you know. It doesn't pretend like they're just any character. Most of them have feminine traits. They do feminine things. And I'm not suggesting that every woman has every feminine trait, but I am saying that there is a biological difference between men and women, or else we wouldn't bother using the words man and woman, you know. You'd all just be blobs or whatever. But the fact that some of you have different chemicals in your brain, different makeups of your body, it's going to influence parts of your personality and mind no matter what. There is a difference between man and woman, you know. No matter how like masculine a woman's interests may seem, almost always you're gonna find that that woman is still very womanly, you know. Like like Cookie here, she's into a lot of the same stuff I'm into, but she's very girly in her mannerisms and stuff, and I'm very masculine in my mannerisms. Even though people say like, "Oh, Digi, you seem completely gay. You watch girl shows. You kind of talk gay, especially in my videos. You know, where I put on the voice." But if you watch me sit around, you know, I fucking sit there and I pick my nose and wipe my fucking boogers on my chair and fucking drink alcohol and burp and you know, do all this manly things, you know, and it's not to say that women can't do those things, but those are manly traits. Those are things that most guys do and most
That's
women
fucking
don't.
disgusting. I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't never picked my nose in my life, you heathen.
But yeah,
I
so
like cats.
you like cats? That's
Yes.
out of absolutely nowhere, Ashley, but thank
Whoa,
you.
whoa, nothing's more manly than liking cats.
This is true. Most men do like cats.
Because they're awesome and adorable.
But yeah, like so with all that clarification out of the way, I think Victor is a pretty manly character. He has a lot of the man ethos. I think I am not really as much of an ethical like manly person, but I definitely would say that on a physical level I act like a dude, you know. And but I think we like as teenagers had this whole like we really liked that sort of any kind of manliness, whether it's macho or manly or whatever. It was just, oh, it's cool, it's adrenaline pumping, it's masculine, I like it, you know. And then I've sort of become disillusioned with that, and now I care more about like the well-rounded sort of masculinity, where it's not about shoving manhood in your face as it is about being a cool person who also happens to have traits that you as a man wish you had, you know, like that Ezio character where Ezio is such a cool guy. Yeah, Ezio's super cool because he's like this suave guy, you know, and again, it's like he goes and, you know, he hits on women, but he does it with taste and he seems like he's enjoying himself and the women enjoy his company, you know. He's the
It's
kind of
just
guy
about
everyone wants to
kicking
be
ass
friends
and
with.
taking care of business.
Right.
TCB, baby.
It's
I'll
it's
take
about
care of
being like manliness is not about not being emotional. It's about being emotional but not being like I guess uh how should I put this? You have to be able to show emotion and have fun. You know, like that's the difference between macho and manly. Is macho guys act like they're not having fun, like they don't care about anything.
Well, you know, it's good for macho men there to show every emotion available, you know, because I've cried 1,000 times and I'll cry some more. But let me tell you this, I'll tell you this right now. Nobody ever said life was easy. Yeah, so if you get knocked down, get back up again, take the standing 8 count, get back up and fight again, and you're a macho maniac. Dig it, yeah!
Is that a real Macho Man Randy Savage quote?
Of course it is. I wouldn't just make them up. I wouldn't sully the memory of Macho Man with a made up quote.
What in
So-
the world was that?
That was his Macho Man Randy Savage. It's
Did you just say who's that? That's it. I'm done.
Macho Man Randy Savage is Jesse's father figure.
Macho Man Randy Savage is literally one of the on my Mount Rushmore of my personal heroes.
Who all is on your Mount Rushmore?
Randy Macho Man Savage, George Carlin, Sylvester Stallone, and fucking like Rod Serling or Anthony Kiedis or something.
Anthony Kiedis. Who's that again? That's the dude from Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Yeah, those are pretty cool. You know what I got recently? Basically, we bought a record player recently. Like my brother went out and got one because we were like, cool vinyls. And one of my mom's best friends died and donated us into her entire record collection. And then we've sort of had like all of my mom's friends giving us all their old records because my mom has none. Hers all got sold or stolen. So we're collecting all these old records, and I happen to now have a George Carlin record from the 1970s. It's
That's
fucking
right.
cool. I gotta listen to it. It's got like a shitload of pictures, you know, him all young and shit all over it, and I was like, dude. So haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but that's gonna be cool. Maybe I'll give it to you
Man.
someday as a birthday present.
George Carlin, the greatest man who ever lived. Before the kikes had him killed with their heart attack gun.
What?
Those fucking Illuminati kikes. They
Illuminati.
could
Oh god.
they couldn't stand the truth he was speaking, so they had to take him out. He was too young, damn it.
Wasn't he like 80?
No, he was 71.
In any case, oh man, who would be my Mount Rushmore? Oh, and by the way, I wanted to comment on this earlier when you're talking about your friend whose life you ruined because he looked up to you. It reminded me of have you ever watched Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
Have you seen the episode where he idolizes the baseball star and like basically it was like the Bob idolized this guy since he was like a teenager, but the guy is the same age as him or like just like 5 years older than him, and everyone keeps going like he can't be your idol, he's like practically your age. And then of course he finds out that the guy was like doping or something like that, he was cheating in some fashion, and he's like, he's all shattered, and the guy tells him, he's like, the reason you should never have an idol your age is because, or he's like, the reason most people's idols are older than them is because they die before they can disappoint you, So, like, yeah, it's such a good line. And most of your heroes, in fact, are dead, like Macho Man Randy Savage, George Carlin, Anthony Kiedis.
I forgot who I said.
In any case, yeah, and Sylvester Stallone, his career's dead. No.
Whoa. Whoa. Technical foul. That's a technical foul. You blew it.
Expendables 2 is the worst movie I've seen in the last 5 years.
You blew it all up. You've gone too far. I'm legitimately mad. Expendables 2 is a great movie. Expendables 1 is a great movie.
Expendables 1 was fun. Expendables 2 is fucking awful.
You know what the worst part
Expendables
is?
2 has Jean-Claude.
It has Jean-Claude, but do you like, okay, the movie is built on action scenes and you can't fucking comprehend what's happening in them. Like it's so ass to look at. Everything is ass. It's all dark and fucking the camera's going everywhere and you can't tell what the fuck's happening. It's like, if I want to see, like, it's not the same as if these two had fought in the 80s, it would have been like a fucking bare knuckle brawl and it would have been real, it would have felt real. And instead it's like this bullshit whatever that they concoct and it doesn't look like a real fight or anything and it's stupid, like,
Still real to me, damn it. It's still real to me.
just nothing in that movie felt sensical or interesting or like it was happening. It just felt like this bullshit movie thing that was dumb and lame, and I hated it. I liked the first one because it was an automatic shotgun, and I mean, who can say no to that? And Terry Crews is fun, and he had an automatic shotgun. But other than that, yeah.
How can you not get enjoyment out of that many muscles on screen at once?
I'm not into the muscle thing. I'm just not. Everyone keeps asking me, how can I not like Dragon Ball Z? And I'm like, I just don't care.
Whoa. You're saying all the wrong things to me right now.
I know.
You're pissing me right off the bridge.
I know.
Babe,
You'd rather have Vita talk to you. He's obsessed with all those things.
No,
babe,
Vita's a faggot and he can
Yes,
suck my dick.
Cookie?
I feel like you're upsetting Jesse, and yet I can't tell the difference if you are.
Between like him normally and him upset.
Yes.
It's because he has no real upset mode. He's just always in antagonism mode.
My upset mode
But
is a frightening thing to behold that no one should ever see.
yeah, like when it comes to that whole like don't idolize someone who's your age, like that's the main reason I try my hardest not to, like, whenever I think of my idols, I don't include like the analysis people that I'm really into because they're too close to just being me, or like, like I relate to them not really as idols but as people who are similar to me. And the number one that I've tried to put that distance between is Ego Raptor. Because when I first got into Ego Raptor, I really did like look up to him. It's like, I want to be Sequelitis. Like that's what I want to be when I grow up, kind of thing, And then as I went along, and my analysis style has developed so much in the past year, I kind of feel like I'm better at analysis than he is. Like I've come farther. He doesn't really seem to make a lot of progress on that field. He's grown exponentially as an animator, Like, no question, he's gotten better at that, and he's amazing now. But, you know, as an analyst, I feel like I'm on level with him, and he's not really someone to look up to. And I worry that he will disappoint me at some point, you know, where he's going to put out stuff that I'm not going to like, or he's going to be a dick in some way. Like, if that story about how the Game Grumps broke up is really true, then it kind of makes you go, wow, Ego Raptor, that was a dick move, you know, like, how could you really do that? But, you know,
Wait, which story? Because I heard like 8
the
of
one
them.
where he like hit John's girlfriend or whatever, and like, I don't know, there's just, you know,
I don't know, just bro
I
drama.
mean, yeah, it's just drama, and I don't want to read too much into it, but there's such a huge potential for, you know, him to. He's not like old enough and not mature enough to really be a role model, you know? Whereas like my mentor, I really look up to him because he, you know, he's like 38. He's really living like an adult life, you know, and without question, emotionally, he is very mature, you know. He is what you hope to be at 30, 36, you know. And like, he has struggles and everything, but they're the kind of struggles that I want to have. Like, I want to reach that point where I'm worried about, like, you know, these big culture, like, because he does, his job is usually like these things that are really important to like the city of Manila. He's in the Philippines. Like, it'll be like these big city restoration projects or like these big social change movement kind of things, you know. So he's involved with like this high level shit, and I'm like, I want to be that. I want the things that I do to matter and like to affect people's lives, you know. Those are the kind of issues he's struggling with, or like with his daughter, where it's like some problems he'll have, like, oh shit, I have to, you know, help my baby daughter with her issues, or help my wife, or help this and that. And I'm like, those are the kind of high level, high functioning issues I want to be dealing with, not the kind of emotional bro drama that like Ego Raptor's going through, you know. I want to be on a level like my dad, where decisions he makes are like, am I going to help this relative stay off the street for another year, you know, or not? And like, how do I deal with all these like, how am I going to help my friends and family like not die this year, as opposed to how am I going to make my friends not be mad at me for the winter break? It's just the current kind of drama I go through, you know. So that's why I think my heroes should be people who are lived and experienced, who not just that they do something I want to do, but that they are someone I want to be. If that's like the aphorism of today, apparently, because that was too good of an aphorism. I'm patting myself on the back here. Is somebody gonna stop me? Someone?
I just want to see how far you go.
I'll just sit here and suck my own dick in front of all of you. Oh.
Your ego's adorable, so I'm
You've
just gonna
been-
keep that to grow.
This woman's been building my ego for the past 2 days like crazy. Like, she's like trying to kill me with an ego overload or something. I'm gonna walk around
Well, yeah,
all day.
she's your girlfriend. That's her job. She's got to build your ego up so that she can eventually crush it.
Yeah, she does. It is a fragile ego. She could easily ball it up if she wanted to. It's dangerous. Luckily, though, I have a fallback of like 50 or 70,000 people who always tell me how amazing I am on a day-to-day basis. So I have some fallback net if she wanted to crush my feelings. I don't think she would, but
You ought to just go on 4chan once in a while. That'll work wonders for your ego problem there.
I go on there, but it's always, you know what? If people there had legitimate criticisms of me, then it might affect me. But when it's a bunch of people going, he's a faggot, he makes money off his videos, what a faggot. And I'm like, you
I don't know,
people,
I think-
I'm like, so wait, you're telling me that I'd be so much cooler if I gave out my shit for free and just lived in my fucking parents' basement and was 14 and did nothing with my life but sit on 4chan? That's the level you want me to quote unquote ascend to, is 4chaner? Like,
Pretty much.
Digibrony threads are among my favorite threads on 4chan.
they're so bad. They're so abysmally bad. Like I said, like I like criticism to an extent, you know. Like, if someone has a legit thing that they want to say to me that like matters, then they'll probably say it to my face and not in a fucking 4chan
Dude,
thread.
let it all off your chest. This is your chance, because they're all gonna hear this.
Oh, I hope so. I mean,
Tell those circle jerking fucking faggots to suck your dick like I would.
yeah, suck my dick, you circle jerking fucking faggots. Like, seriously, it's It's stupid and it's childish and it's the same fucking people every time. I know because I see these like almost copy pasted responses people will have.
Do you hear that, people? You hear what he done said about you?
And the funniest
You
thing
gotta get him.
is that someone
That was him that said that.
like the funniest thing to me is when there's like this perception on there like within the threads that it's like, oh, we all hate him. But I have so many friends on 4chan who just don't participate. They usually tell me about it. They're like, oh, hey, there's another Digibrony thread up, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. There's one guy who poses as me in the threads, a few people who pose as me in the threads just to stir the pot, and the people in the threads are too fucking stupid to know it's not me. That's when I know it's embarrassing. When I'm like,
well, no, I'm gonna start.
when
Doing
I'm
that.
like, really, you guys can't even like. Again, if the criticism was like on any intellectual level where I was expected to take it seriously at all, then maybe I'd engage. But it's a bunch of people yelling, "You're a faggot," and I'm like, wow, it's a bunch of
I don't know.
13-year-olds don't like me. I'm so hurt,
I,
you know.
I think if you had the a thick enough skin to actually sift through it all to find the nuggets, you'd find something that's worthy of paying attention to and like, oh, maybe
But they're
I
saying
do this
like
wrong.
the fact that they're saying it on an anonymous message board inherently makes it not worth reading because like
Oh, I don't believe that at all.
I think so because here's the thing. How okay, let's say that somebody did have a legitimate criticism. How do I respond to it? What do I do? Am I supposed to
Just respond to it, I guess, if you feel like it.
I mean I don't see the purpose of raising a point if it's not a dialogue. I don't get it. Like I don't get to me 4chan what they want you to do because they say, "Oh, you're supposed to be anonymous." And I'm like, "So you're telling me that you're supposed to be throwing your comments into a void and that's it?" Like the whole point of talking on the internet is discussion to me. Like 4chan to me is no different from any other forum where people just like read the OP and they respond to it and they don't read anything else in the fucking thread and there's no discussion. That's why I don't do forums. I fucking hate forums because people come in and it's like, "What's your favorite anime of the season?" And then everyone gives their answer. Nobody reads anyone else's answer. No one responds. There's no conversation. There's no dialogue. If someone goes on 4chan, it's like, "Who is best pony?" And then everyone posts their favorite pony and there's no discussion, there's no dialogue, or it's just a bunch of people ranting, doing the same copy pastas they've done a million times. If you want to raise a point of contention with my videos, you fucking man up, grow some balls, send me a fucking private message on YouTube or comment on one of my videos and I'll respond to it and we'll have an actual debate and make actual fucking progress. You have to hide behind anonymous on some shitty ass message board and you don't even like you're not even calling it to my attention. You're discussing it with other faggots in some fucking place. I'm not even gonna see it. Like to me,
Wait. Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, if fucking everybody who wanted to talk about me had to message me personally, I wouldn't want that. I mean, if they want to
don't
talk
get
about
it
you
wrong.
amongst
I'm not gonna
themselves, how's that?
read the messages they send me. I'm just saying that you should at least have the courage to like do that or something, you know.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's a thing of anyone actually wanting to talk to you. I think it's just them wanting to talk about amongst themselves and like, yeah, I don't like this fucking guy. Well, I like this fucking guy. I don't like that fucking guy. That fucking guy is a faggot. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it's just it's a discussion
I
like
guess
anywhere else.
I don't see anything wrong with that, but it's there's if it was meaningful, maybe I'd care. Like it's a huge difference between like, you know, going, "Oh, Digibrony's a faggot. Oh, he's a sellout. Oh, here's my poorly thought out opinion on," like, you know, and I can always tell that these guys haven't seen my videos. You know, like that's the thing that gets me the most is when I read these opinions and like there's the one copy pasta in every thread where they say like, "Oh, he just positive about all the like Hasbro's paying him because he's just positive about all the videos." And I'm like, you clearly haven't watched my videos because A, season 4, I've been a fucking asshole towards half the episodes. B, I've been an asshole towards episodes in season 3. I called Games Ponies Play a fucking joke. I thought it was horrible. Spike at Your Service was abysmal, you know. I had a video once where I was literally depressed because Apple Family Reunion sucked so much to me at the time. It's not even that bad of an episode, but it depressed me with how disappointing it was to me at the time. You know, I've had these sad videos, and people say, "Oh, Hasbro must have paid him because he liked Equestria Girls and wrote a positive review." And, "Oh, you didn't raise any negative points in your review? That means it's not objective." And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't go for objective. Second of all, Tommy fucking Oliver's working on a movie-length negative takedown of Equestria Girls. Why the fuck would I tread on any of those points when he's already going to cover them? Everyone else bitched about the movie. I'm going to come at it from my angle. I enjoyed it. I'm just going to talk about the shit I like, whatever. And they're like, Hasbro wants to pay you. I badmouthed the toys in my review. Would Hasbro pay for that? No. These people aren't paying attention. They're not thinking. They're just making these criticisms because they're looking for a reason to hate me. They're like, he's popular. Let's find out some reason that we don't like him. He likes equestrian girls. Fuck that guy. Let's find a flimsy backing for our opinion that he must be wrong, and no legitimate criticism.
They actually say that
I don't
stuff
know.
about you?
Yes, they say all those things about. There's an image on YouTube or on 4chan that always comes up where it has a picture of Hasbro and a picture of my face, and it's a hand holding a bunch of money that slowly gravitates towards me, and my score keeps going up until it hits 10 out of 10 when the money gets to me. Never mind that I don't give scores. Never mind that I wouldn't give that movie a 10 out of 10. Never mind that I only liked it as a sound and light show and say so in my fucking video. But whatever. And I even do criticize the movie in the video. Like, it's not all positive. I don't go deep into negative points, but even in the video, I criticize it openly. So I don't fucking know. These people don't pay attention.
I don't it's rare that I see people talking about me on 4chan at all because I'm not super big yet. But it seems like whenever I do see someone talking about me, it's usually positive on 4chan. They like me.
It's because you say faggot. You say faggot and autist, and yeah, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. If I said faggot and autist, they'd be on my dick. I promise.
Well, you say it all the time in the podcast.
Well, people love the podcast.
I have seen that. I have seen
every single Digibrony thread I've ever looked at. One of the first responses is, he's really cool in the Drowning in Footwear podcast, and they post a link to it. Every Digibrony thread, like towards the beginning, will always have that. It's like there's someone waiting in the wings with that copy pasted into like a doc, so anytime a thread about me comes up, they can post that and say, "Oh, he's cool here because he said the word autist."
Well, yeah. I mean, I like fucking 4chan. I fucking lurk there all the time. I go to the MLP board and the.
Don't get me wrong. I like 4chan because of the other.
I mean, yeah, most of the people there are probably fucking retarded, but most of the people everywhere are fucking retarded. And I think when you're dealing with reading criticism of yourself, no matter how thick your skin is, it's always going to hurt your feelings a little bit. But it's about being able. You just gotta sift it or strain it like fucking, I don't know, spaghetti or something. You gotta find the nuggets in there, because most of what everyone says is gonna be stuff that you can just sort of dismiss and go, they don't know what they're talking about. That's not really relevant to what I'm trying to accomplish. But every once in a while, if you really take the time to look at it and sift through it, you'll find something that you can go, oh, well, maybe I can work on this. I think just because something is anonymous doesn't mean it's not valid. If anything, it makes it more valid because people don't have to fucking watch themselves.
I just don't get why
bite their tongues or anything.
I don't know. I've never quite understood the anonymous thing, except for when you are someone who your presence is distracting. Because that was my whole thing. I was like, I want people to know. I didn't want to be anonymous. I was originally a trip fag on there because I was like, I want everything to be tied to me. I want you to understand that I am that person, because it helps to inform you of why I'm saying the things I'm saying. I've always been strongly of the opinion that in order to understand a reviewer, you need to know about their opinions, because no reviewer is objective, none of them, So you're not really going to get anything out of a review if you don't know anything about the guy, or you haven't seen other reviews by him and kind of have a gist of what he looks for. Like Your Movie Sucks guy, you know that he's obsessed with realism, because if you watch enough of his videos, he always points out when something's unrealistic or when it seems hokey, and that's the kind of stuff that bothers him. His favorite movies tend to be ones that he feels are really realistic, that don't have a lot of errors in them. He likes movies that are structurally perfect, and you understand that because you've seen a lot of his videos and you know who he is. So when he makes one of these little quickies, because he does a lot of them where they're like 2 minutes long, and you know enough about him going into the video that even if it's only a 2-minute video, you totally get why he feels the way he does. And so, that's the kind of context you need to really appreciate someone's opinion. So if I go on 4chan and I say something and people know it's me, then they get the context of, oh, it's this guy. I know what his opinions mean. I know where he's coming from. Therefore, his words have more weight. Whereas if it's just some anonymous guy, I don't know shit about them. I don't know if there's some fucking 13-year-old idiot who's just being a cock. I don't know if there's some guy who, has this different worldview that if I understood it, I'd get where he's coming from better. So to me, context is so important that I don't get why you'd remove it. I could see maybe it would be helpful in some situations, but most like discussion context, it's not helpful. But going onto 4chan and posting under the name Digibro in any thread is going to make a bunch of people start talking about my videos or going, oh, hey, because this has happened too. Like, even though there's all these hate threads, there's also times where I'll bomb into some other thread. Like, let's say it's some Applejack thread, and I make a post, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's so blah blah, and then I'll have all these people, oh hey, it's Digi, I can't believe you come here, that's so cool. Oh Digi, when are you gonna do the follow up to your Magical Mystery Cure video? Like all this shit that I don't know why they don't just ask me on Twitter, and I'm like, and that's when I finally said, you know what, I get it, I can't be a trip fag anymore because it's impossible. People care too much.
You want to hear my spaghetti story about what happened to me on MLP the
Sure.
other day? I was browsing the threads, just kind of dicking around, lurking like I always do, because I fucking rarely ever post anything, because like you said, I don't really give a shit to throw my fucking anonymous voice into a fucking void of nothing.
There's no point if it's not tied to
But-
you. Like, you get that as a content creator. Like, it's kind of like you don't really, like me and you don't typically talk unless we're recording it to put it on the internet,
Well, yeah, but I still see the merit of
Right.
anonymity. I think it's important. I think 4chan is probably, like they say, the last bastion of free speech in this hideous fascist hellhole of a nation we live in. But regardless, I was hanging out in the threads, and I was just clicking on random fucking threads because I was dicking around and wasting my time and not fucking working like I should have been or something. And I think one of the threads was like, oh, fucking roll for some shit for like a random superpower because you have to fight the power ponies and make them your sex slave, right?
Uh-huh.
And whatever you get is like your superpower that you have to fight them with. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go on there. Not thinking I'd post anything, but I went and I clicked on random superpower, and I got like the most perfect fucking superpower, which was rainbow manipulation, and it even had a picture of Rainbow Dash on it. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta post this and tell everybody how cool I am and how I won on the first roll. So I made a post like, hey guys, I won. And I thought, well, fuck it, I'll put my name on this. So I put Drowning in Footwear on it, so everyone knows that I was the guy who got this meaningless roll that made me feel special for 1 second. So I made that post, and then a little bit later, I still had the thread up, and some other guy made a post. And he's like, he said some fucking shit, I don't even remember, and I fucking replied to him with some snarky, stupid shit, just like, oh, you mad, or you're a fucking faggot, but I forgot to unname myself. So I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, oh shit, everyone knows I'm a faggot now. So I closed the thread, and I didn't go on 4chan again for a fucking week.
Jesus Christ.
Out of shame. So that's my name fagging for the first and last time story. That's my spaghetti story of 4chan.
You're
The only time I'll ever post. Ever.
I mean, what I like about 4chan, obviously there are a number of intelligent people who go there who just ignore the dumb threads and post in the cooler ones. I've had great conversations on there before. Like, there was once a So Great and Powerful thread on there, and I was like in it for 3 hours, like just talking to someone about, our mutual appreciation of So Great and Powerful music, like analyzing the lyrics, talking about favorite songs and all that, paragraph length replies every single time. So I know that it's possible. And I used to hang out on A lot back when I was in the anime fandom. And, sometimes we'd launch like these like projects from A and stuff, or like find shit. Like I remember a time where I was really obsessed with like some obscure character from this show, and it's like none of the anime bloggers I knew cared about this character. So I go on 4chan and make a thread, and there's other enthusiasts who are like, oh man, her, yeah, she's so cool. Let me go find all this like fan art and all these comics and stuff, and we all like connect and bond over this like this obscure thing that we all care about that no one else in the world cares about. There was one time I almost launched a project to write a manga from 4chan. Like, there's this character called Biko, who's like from a manga that only has one issue and has never been released onto the internet because the guy who wrote it does not even have his original copy of it. He only made like 50 or so. So it was incredibly rare, but the character design had been so popular that people made like gallons of fan art for it. And so I like made a thread about her, and we're all talking, and I'm like, what if we wrote our own fan comic for it, So we get like an IRC chat going. I've got like a blog post about it. We're trying to, gather artists and writers to try and work this thing out. Great things can come from 4chan, but you gotta wade through all the shit, And I think in a way, learning to do that is very good, like meditative experience. Like it can help you to deal with the rest of the world better, because if you can learn how to like ignore, and because Ashley was asking me just today, like, how is it that I can handle so much of the stupid shit that people message me like on a daily basis, and I'm like, because I know, like, because I still read all my comments, and it's like, because even if 9 out of 10 of them are stupid, the 1/10 that are going to be really good are totally worth it, So sometimes it's worth wading through the atrocious 90% of 4chan to get to that 10% that's like really going to connect with you and resonate with you on this deep level that you can't get anywhere else, especially if it's first, like with My Little Pony, there's nothing so obscure that I need to go on 4chan to like connect with anybody about it. But I know people who do. Like that's why Munchie loves 4chan, because he'll hang out in like those right fag threads, and he'll get like really into some of these storylines and connect with these people where that only exists in 4chan culture. And it's something that he can get that's deep and appreciative to him on a deep level, even though it's on this place that also has all this other bullshit.
What? Well, I tell you got me excited to hopefully be able to make my way to BronyCon next year and hang out with all those freaks and just be a big old faggot myself. Sounds like a gay old
me and
time.
Cookie are going. Munchie's probably going again. Vita's probably. Vita doesn't think he's gonna make it. I wouldn't be surprised if he does though, because he tends to find a way. I'm sure.
Drowning in Horseshoes is going?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, almost definitely. Depending on if I have any money at all when it rolls around.
Ooh.
Yeah. I plan
Which
to
I will
if I get my panel.
If I get my shit sorted out and fucking get myself moving.
If I get my panel, and if he goes, then he's gonna be on my panel without question. You're the number one. Like, I'm gonna try to get a bunch of people up there, but depending on how much time they give me, like if they give me an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'll bring a bunch of people. But if they only give me an hour, I'll probably just bring you and like past analysis and maybe one other person. But otherwise, I'll try to bring everyone. I might bring up Voice of Reason just because I know he's going, and I'll feel bad if I don't. And it would be so fucking funny to get me, you, and him. Because apparently he has, like, he talks to Past Analysis, who I'm friends with, and Pasta told me that, like, he eventually found out that I didn't like him. Like, because I guess he really he wanted to do a collab with me. He like raised the idea to Pasta, and Pasta was like, "Yeah, I don't know. He seems like he's pretty busy." And then I guess somebody else who he told about it was like, "Oh, he doesn't like you." So, but it would be interesting. I mean, I don't think he's a bad person or anything. I think he'd be interesting to have on the board with me, with everyone else, to like present this completely different opinion and everything.
This is so fucking stupid. Let me tell you why this just grinds my gears. Out with this faggoty little fucking. Friendship is witchcraft is an abomination. It stands against the integrity of everything that a bridge series stand for, and all these rules of conduct that I made up.
I just have to ask.
This isn't how comedy works. I didn't laugh at this, so it's not comedy.
Yeah, I think even he knows how bad that video is at this point. Like, he's gotten slammed for it constantly for like a year now. So,
I love him.
what were you saying, Ash?
I just have to ask. Does Jesse even like ponies? Cause
It's a mystery
No,
to the
Jesse
world.
loves ponies. We've gone through this plenty of times where he legitimately is a fan of the show, and it's probably one of his favorites.
are you
So,
serious?
it's one of his
'Cause-
favorites. He likes it almost every episode. Like, all of his fucking episode reviews are positive.
Okay, I've seen his episode reviews, but he could be trolling.
Nah,
I can't tell.
Jesse doesn't believe in
Wait.
trolling.
Oh.
He doesn't.
And how would I troll? How do you troll positively, anyways? Am I the first then? Is that what my title is going to be? The
But your
positive
stuff doesn't sound very positive. Even though you like episodes, it sounds angry.
It's his humor. Like, that's.
Well, that's because the world is a horrible, dark, and miserable place. But I still like the show. That's why I like the show.
It makes you feel better about the world.
I don't know. I just think it's cute, funny, and colorful.
I have to ask then, who's your favorite pony?
Oh, Fluttershy.
Oh, thank God. I got
By
I
far.
got a friend.
Rainbow Dash is up there too.
Oh God.
They're pretty. They're almost evenly matched.
You all know my favorite's Applejack.
Yes.
That's right.
That apple pussy.
The apple pussy.
Well, babe, lately I've seen Fluttershy biting that apple.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
Good old Fluttershy biting on that apple pussy.
Have you ever heard the song Anime Pussy, Jesse?
No,
I'm
wonderful.
gonna link it to you. It's these two
Is it-
like really young black guys doing a rap song. It's like the chorus is anime pussy, anime pussy, and the whole song
It
is
sounds-
about anime.
That just sounds like they ripped off horse pussy.
It's much older than horse
Stealing
pussy.
my shit retroactively in the past. Stealing
No,
my
it's
shit.
it's a hip hop song, so it's not really the same genre or anything. But I think you'll appreciate it when I send it to you. It's very nice. It's fucking hilarious. You'll like it. So, anything else to talk about? We've run about 2 hours now.
Yeah, we've gone pretty weird. Oh man, I don't know, man. I mean, you were talking about Munchie and how he's 13, and that just reminded me of how like the last 13-year-old that I saw in person, I punched in the face and he went fucking flying like 20 feet across the room
Why did you punch him in the face?
because he was being a little fucking shit. That's a good story for another time. You know, as I sit here in the old podcast hole with you, I realize I got so many stories because we haven't talked in a couple months like this. I got so many stories, but I guess those are stories for another day, for another old Horsecast, and there will be more. There's always more Horsecasts down the pipe. So that's our Horsecast for today. What did we talk about? I don't fucking know. We talked about a guy who's my friend. We talked about his friends and my friends. Talked about 4chan. Digi doesn't like it. I like it.
No.
It's
I
fine.
like
If
4chan.
you-
I made a whole defense of it at the end there. Like,
If you guys think I'm a faggot, you can. That's okay. You can call me a faggot. I don't fucking give a shit. I am a fucking faggot. He's a faggot. I'm a faggot. We're all faggots.
I
We're all
do
just-
like dick. This is true.
He does like dick. Well, why didn't you fuck Vita then?
I'm selective.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
standards.
Even if you were gay, I think you'd have to be pretty super gay to go that gay with that guy, or that guy with that gay.
That guy.
But anyways,
That does not make any sense, but you may continue.
hey, I'll go guy with all the gays around here, and ain't no one gonna stop me. So that's the Horsecast.
Same horse time, same horse channel.
Goodbye, Bye. Oh, holy shit.
I'm drowning in Horseshoes.